Donna Adelson was a wife, mother, and grandmother living a nice, quiet life in South Florida. But when her daughter got divorced, and there was a custody battle for the kids, prosecutors say Donna stepped in and ended the battle when she put a hit out on her ex-son-in-law, law professor Dan Markel. I'm the crime chef, and this is Hell's Kitchen. In a shocking turn of events in the Dan Markel murder case, new information has emerged regarding Donna Adelson's involvement. This has reignited public interest and added complexity to the already high-profile investigation. Donna Adelson is accused of orchestrating a plot that led to the 2014 killing of her son-in-law, prominent law professor Dan Markel. Her story involves family betrayal, hidden motives, and a desperate attempt to protect herself. As more details emerge, the question remains: to what extent did the Adelson family go to silence Markel? And what new evidence could finally solve this decade-long mystery? Explore the latest updates that reveal the shocking efforts to cover up a murder that had a significant impact on the legal world. As Donna Adelson's trial begins this week, the courtroom will witness a blend of fresh and familiar evidence, witnesses, and legal representatives in a case that continues to cast a shadow over Tallahassee more than 10 years after the incident. The trial of the matriarch of the South Florida family, who has long been linked to the contract killing of Dan Markel, will take place at the Leon County Courthouse in Courtroom 3G. This is the same location where her son, Charlie Adelson, was found guilty of Markel's murder last November following a 2-week trial. Like the previous trial, Leon Circuit Judge Stephen Everett will oversee the proceedings. Assistant State Attorney Georgia Kappelman, who has systematically prosecuted the 4 individuals convicted in connection with the murder, and Assistant State Attorney Sarah Catherine Dugan, Kappelman's colleague during Charlie Adelson's trial, will handle the prosecution of this case. Dan Rashbaum, a Miami attorney, will defend both Charlie Adelson and his mother. Charlie was portrayed as a victim of extortion by the real killers. Rashbaum will be joined by local attorney Robert Alex Morris at the defense table. Ethan Way, a Tallahassee criminal defense lawyer, described the upcoming trial as a well-matched battle between talented prosecutors and defense attorneys. For the first time in the 5-year Markel case trials, all 3 of Donna Adelson's children could testify: Charlie, Wendy, and Rob. Meanwhile, a treasure trove of evidence familiar to true crime buffs, podcasters, YouTubers, and others who have been following the case obsessively for years will take center stage once again. That includes the bump operation, when an FBI agent posing as a blackmailer shook Donna Adelson down outside her Miami condo, a secretly recorded conversation between her and her son shortly after, in which they talked in code about what was happening, and other incriminating wiretaps, emails, and texts. Markel, a law professor at Florida State University, was fatally shot at point-blank range in the garage of his Benton Hills home on July 18, 2014. The murder was carried out by 2 hired Miami killers and occurred after the divorce and a court ruling that prevented his ex-wife from relocating with the kids to South Florida, providing the motive for the crime, according to prosecutors. Here are a few key points to watch for in the Donna Adelson trial. 1. Will Donna Adelson's attempted flight to Vietnam seal her fate? Donna Adelson, 74 years old, was arrested on November 13, 2023, just a week after her son's conviction. She and her husband, Harvey, were attempting to board a flight out of Miami with one-way tickets to Vietnam, a non-extradition country. She was later indicted on charges of first-degree murder, conspiracy, and solicitation, the same 3 charges for which her son was found guilty. Her defense lawyers attempted, but failed, to prevent the state from using her flight against her in pretrial motions and hearings. Tim Jansen, a prominent Tallahassee defense lawyer and former federal prosecutor, stated that the aborted trip will be a crucial part of the state's case. He noted that the jury will be instructed by the judge that the flight can be seen as a consciousness of guilt, and in a circumstantial evidence case with no eyewitness testimony against Donna, it could be the deciding factor that she was fleeing to avoid prosecution. On the other hand, Zach Ward, a Tallahassee defense lawyer who has worked on murder cases before with Morris, mentioned that the Vietnam trip may be the biggest two-edged sword in the case. He suggested that the defense, and Donna Adelson herself if she chooses to testify, can argue that even though she had nothing to do with the murder, she knew she was going to get arrested and face an unsympathetic jury in Leon County. Ward emphasized that this aspect absolutely needs to be explained and that there is a potentially good explanation for it. He also expressed doubt about how damning the state thinks it really is. Jurors will hear recordings of Donna Adelson speaking with her son shortly after his conviction and before her arrest. In the conversations, she discusses fleeing to a non-extradition country, getting her financial affairs in order, and even mentions the possibility of committing suicide. Pat Sanford, the lead FBI agent in the Markel case, who intercepted the Adelsons at Miami International Airport, is expected to testify for the state. Prosecutors will also question Scott Radius, a friend of Charlie Adelson, who had a timeshare investment with him in Vietnam. Radius had discussions with Harvey Adelson about travel plans, during which Harvey instructed Radius not to disclose any details about their plans. As for Donna Adelson's 3 children, Wendy Adelson, considered an uncharged co-conspirator by the state, will testify under a limited immunity deal, just as she has in previous trials. Despite sometimes testy exchanges with prosecutors, Wendy has consistently denied any involvement or knowledge of the murder conspiracy. Jansen mentioned that her testimony will be more significant in her mom's trial, as prosecutors present jurors with texts and emails exchanged between them prior to Markel's murder. All of this will be relevant to establish Donna's motive, Jansen explained. It's going to be really tough for Wendy to testify against her mother. She testified against her brother, but now she's testifying against her mother, and they're going to present her with these documents that are all very damaging towards her mother. That's not going to be good for her at all. In one email dated June 26, 2013, which was more than a year before the crime, Donna Adelson wrote a lengthy email to her daughter regarding her legal battle with her ex-husband, whom she mockingly referred to as Jibbers. She mentioned a plan to offer Markel a $1 million bribe and advised her daughter on how to negotiate with him, suggesting she should persuade the children to convert from their Jewish faith to Catholicism, among other things. Below is the revised text. Donna Adelson wrote, "If you dressed your kids up in Hitler Youth uniforms and brought them down here, I could care less if it was an act of defiance and would show Jibbers that he's not in control. If your children are baptized, it doesn't make them Christian, it's an act." Way, the attorney who represented Denise Williams, one of 2 people convicted in the once unsolved Mike Williams murder, said prosecutors have their work cut out for them, trying to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. You can put a whole lot of evidence in front of somebody. It still may not convince them, he said. You still have circumstantial evidence. You don't have confessions. You don't have the smoking gun. You're just seeking to stack inferences on inferences. There are indications that her oldest brother, Rob Adelson, who has been listed before as a state witness, will be called to the stand in his mother's trial. The defense filed a motion under seal, likely seeking to limit or preclude his testimony, and the matter was apparently dealt with during a closed-door hearing in Judge Everett's chambers. Meanwhile, Charlie Adelson, who's serving a life sentence, is expected to take the stand. He testified in his own defense last year that he was being extorted by the killers, Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera, through his then-girlfriend Katie Magbanua, and that his mom was subsequently the victim of a ruse blackmail operation by the FBI. He was transferred from a South Dakota prison, where he is being held for security reasons, and was booked into the Leon County Detention Facility on Friday. Jansen mentioned that he might end up testifying for the defense, which has included state witnesses on its list. Rivera and Magbanua arrived at the county jail earlier this month in preparation for their testimony for the state. They might try to call Charlie to the stand and see if he can present the double extortion theory without the mother having to testify, Jansen said. But she's going to have to explain the flight. Charlie can't explain that. Will the jurors believe another extortion defense? Other key witnesses include Sanford, the FBI agent who arrested Donna Adelson, and Oscar Jimenez, the retired FBI agent who posed as a Latin Kings gang buddy of Rivera during the bump. The agent handed her a newspaper article with $5,000 written on it, a photo of Markel, and a phone number to call. That operation in April 2016 got the suspects talking, on secretly recorded lines, about the blackmailer and Markel's murder. Donna Adelson called her son immediately after the encounter to say cryptically that she got some paperwork and that they needed to talk. A series of calls ensued with Charlie advising his mom, Obviously, don't discuss things in the apartment or anywhere else, and speculating with her that the blackmailer might actually be law enforcement. Initially, Donna Adelson did not call the phone number, but eventually did so after Jimenez contacted the family's dental practice and sent Donna a threatening letter and text. "I'm telling you, it's not me," Donna Adelson said during her only call with the FBI agent. "I don't know who caused it. It wasn't me. I don't know what more to tell you." During a pretrial hearing on Thursday, prosecutors and the defense argued over a state presentation containing text messages from 2016 between Donna and Charlie Adelson about Shadrick Nobles, who had sold cocaine to the killers when they were in Tallahassee. Dugan mentioned that Charlie Adelson had informed his mom about a Tallahassee Democrat article about Nobles in August 2016, after the two were allegedly blackmailed, and celebrated his involvement in the case. Maybe those guys were just up in Tallahassee buying drugs, just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Dugan read aloud from Charlie's text. "Maybe the coke dealer did it because Danny didn't pay for his drugs." Dugan informed Everett, "The defense's argument is that they were extorted, and this message contradicts that. Will Donna Adelson take the stand or take a plea?" Jury selection for Donna Adelson's trial will start on Tuesday morning. If a jury is seated by then, opening statements may take place on Thursday. The first witnesses are not expected to testify until Friday morning at the earliest. It is uncertain whether Donna Adelson will take the stand or decide after the state presents its evidence. This decision remains open, given the prosecutor's successful cross-examinations of previous defendants. Donna Adelson appeared in court wearing a purple jumpsuit, leg shackles, and handcuffs for her final pretrial appearance before Everett. The state is ready to proceed and has not made a final plea offer to the defendant. The defense has no counteroffer. Before the trial proceeds, the judge asked Donna Adelson if there was any counteroffer she wished her attorneys to make, to which she replied, "No, there isn't.